What's up, guys? Tom the Casual Cutter back again, and today's video is all about what I carried for an entire year. Some of you may know I took the entire year of 2021 off from my social media accounts, but I also took the entire year off of buying knives, buying EDC gear.
No, God! No, God, please, no! 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 No!
And I tried a social experiment to carry just one knife, and one knife alone, and that was the CRK Chris Reeve Knives Umnumzaan. This is the only knife I carried for an entire year straight, over 365 days in the pocket, with no other cutting tool except for this.
You're kidding, right?
Now, the Umnumzaan is a large knife, and thinking back, maybe a more intermediate sized knife would have been a better carry choice for the entire year. But this thing, based on my work and what I was doing on a daily basis, this worked out pretty well. I'm not gonna bore you with the stats on this knife, but I'll probably put them up in the corner somewhere over here briefly, and just tell you more about how this thing kind of kept me going for a year. First off, this Umnumzaan was a gift to me for my first Father's Day, so it holds an extremely sentimental value. So for that, I think it was easier to keep in the pocket every single day. But in addition to that, the Umnumzaan is extremely capable. I mean, it's a tank of a knife. It's relatively thin, so it carries well. It has the what I think is fantastic, Chris Reeve standard clip that kind of has that little double retention thing going on. This clip it just works. It just works. It's a little snag happy with the ramp, but it goes in and out of the pocket extremely easy. It stays secure. So, it wasn't really a burden to have this thing in my pocket for that long. But it is the one knife I carried. And in that time, I learned a lot about this thing. And I learned a lot about myself, what my needs were versus what my wants are. Truth of the matter is, I don't need more than one knife. I don't think anybody really does unless they're using it for work. But as far as EDC goes, one thing that cuts relatively well got me through an entire year. This is the Tanto version, so it has a lot of flat cutting surface or relatively flat cutting surface. It has that secondary tip, and then it has this broad primary tip there that is kind of a convex grind. I found myself, like most Tantos, using this tip to open packages, cut tape, dig into things. The flat obviously works like any flat edge, like the edge of a razor. And the blade stock is relatively thin. I wouldn't call it super thin, but I mean, this thing got me through the year. Hollow grind that CRK is known for. And this thing held up extremely well. You can see there are scratches. I did sharpen it twice over the course of the year, which I would say is a testament to the S35 heat treat that they do. It does have one of my ugly toothy edges on it now, with a little bit of a secondary bevel. I don't know if you can see it there, but yeah, I mean, I would strop this thing once or twice a week for a minute, and it just kept going and going and going. So if you don't know too much about the Umnumzaan, it is a frame lock. As you can see, it's full titanium. It does have an over travel stop, and the detent ball is also the lock interface. Don't know if you're going to be able to see that. You can kind of see it right there at the top of the lock bar. That is the detent ball ceramic, but also lock interface. What's cool about the Umnumzaan is you can flick it open, and it has kind of a muffled sound because the thumb studs also double as external stop pins, and they have these rubber bumpers on them. So, I mean, it's just a little nuance of this knife that makes it different from others. I do love the milling pattern. It's got a clean pass-through design with just one standoff here, and then the lanyard tube. This is the first knife that I really dedicated a lanyard to. Prior to this, I was not a lanyard guy, and to be honest, I might take it off, but it was like this for a year. I just changed out the paracord because it was pretty beat up, but I did have this bead on it, and I found that just getting it in and out of the pocket, it did add some extra purchase and make that a little easier. Other than that, I have had zero issues with this knife performing for the entire year of 2021. I never felt like I was underclassed in terms of, not having enough knife for any job that I did. And I'm just extremely happy with it. Obviously, even if this wasn't a gift, it would stay in the collection permanently for sure. Another cool feature of the Umnumzaan that you don't think you would need every day, and none of us really do, but it's nice to have, is a glass breaker. So that little portion at the top of the blade is a glass breaker. And just to share a little story from the past, a few years ago, I was on my motorcycle and I was almost hit head on by a guy flying downhill, swerved into my lane, missed me by inches. Turns out he missed me, ran into a telephone pole. There was a borderline explosion. I turned around, flew back down the hill to help him, and the guy was having an active seizure, slumped over in the car. So I had to break the window. His doors were locked. The car looked like it was about to catch fire. Pulled out my pocket knife. At the time, I think I had a Kershaw on me, and it would not break the window. So I frantically, in that state of mind, your gross motor skills are completely just a wreck. I tried breaking the window with my knife. That didn't work. I tried breaking it with my elbow. That didn't work. In case you guys didn't know, automotive glass is tempered, and it's really hard to break unless you have an acute type of a tool to break it with, or maybe a baseball bat, which I had neither. So I had to scrounge around and find a boulder, basically a small boulder about the size, a little smaller than a bowling ball, and I had to chuck that through the guy's back window. Oh my! And then unlock the doors and then keep his airway safe and open until EMS arrived. If I had this, I would be able to just pull it out and tap the window. Would have been a lot easier. But so yeah, if you guys don't have a knife glass breaker on your knife, it's good to at least have one in your car, or maybe have a little pocket tool that has one on your keychain, something like that. You won't ever run into that situation that I did, where I had to kind of hope and pray that there was something close by that I could break the window with. So anyway, here's a closer look at the lines and features of the knife. Again, there's that over travel stop with the Chris Reeve logo. That great pocket clip that I love. That pass-through design. Ceramic ball lock interface, which you can see right there. That kind of frag milling. Hollow grind, Tonto tip. I actually just got a convex sharpening rod for my KME, so I'll be able to get this tip dialed in, because I was using just a freehand stone and it's really not that sharp, to be honest. But the this right here, the primary bevel, is a laser, even though it's a toothy edge, super sharp. So yeah, I mean, if I was to implement my rating system on this knife, you know, it's going to be right up here in the corner, and it is definitely a keeper. Again, regardless of whether or not it was a gift, for my needs and my tastes, the Umnumzaan fits the bill. And yeah, it's a great knife. The only knife I carried for all of 2021. I think a testament to Chris Reeve Knives. If you're thinking about picking one up, you can't really go wrong. They hold their value on the secondary market, so even if you got one in, you know, they do take some time to break in. So if you get one brand new in the box, it's on phosphor bronze washers, pretty large phosphor bronze washers, and it does take time to break in. This thing was very stiff when I first got it. My thumb was pretty torn up from opening and closing it relentlessly for a couple weeks, but it smoothed out very nicely after a couple weeks of break-in. And you know, you have to break it in because those CRK tolerances are extremely close. I mean, there's no play in this thing. There's no room for play. So those washers have to break in and seat in nicely. And once they do, it's a fantastic knife. So guys, there it is. The knife I carried for an entire year straight. The CRK Umnumzaan. And thanks for taking a look. As always, if you guys like the video, like the content, if you're still here, please just take a second, click that like button. That helps my video get out to others, and others, you know, to discover my channel. And if you're into EDC and knife-related content, please subscribe. As always, you can find me on Instagram at The Casual Cutter, where I post daily content. And I'll catch you guys on the next one.